What is going on, everybody? Thank you very much for coming back and hanging out with me on another episode of Experimenting with Kenny. Yeah, that's me. Sorry. Okay, thank you guys for coming back to Customizer Depot to check out solarcolordust.com. Right here, I have a triple thermal dust, right? And like every video, I'm trying to be as informative as possible with the care package that Solar Color Dust has sent us. And now the reason why I'm showing you this is because I want to showcase every single color that they offer, every single color that they have, because I want to see what it does. I'm very interested, I'm very intrigued. I am a learned mind, whatever. Apparently I have not learned English to master it. So the things that you're gonna need for this project are going to be, as stated, right? I should do the same thing that I do, right? This is the triple thermal dust. It goes from black to red to purple, and it changes 3 different colors. As mentioned, black, red, purple. So it starts off black, activated at 82 degrees Fahrenheit, which it turns to red. And then when it activates at 95 degrees Fahrenheit, activates to purple, which is pretty cool. So guys, remember the disclaimer: use proper protection when handling, wash exposed areas with soap and water, adult supervision recommended. Not here, because I am an adult and I also make my own rules. You heard? Solar Color Dust. Now, I do have to abide by some rules. So now let's go for the instructions, which are the rules, even though I will not abide by them. Thermal dust changes color and temperature. Remember, 82 degrees and then 95 degrees. Mix 1 gram of pigment to 1 fluid ounce of clear base, which is Angelus neutral acrylic leather paint. This is where we get the good stuff, right? Then you want to apply it over a white surface. And in this case, I will show you the white surfaces that we're gonna be testing on, because that's what we're doing in Experimenting with Kenny. We want to experiment with the 3 different surfaces that we do for every single video that we're doing for this particular project. Okay, so constant exposure to the sun, this is their disclaimer, can eventually burn the pigment, damaging the color change effect. So now, if you're using this and you're always in the sun, you may mess up the pigment. So that means that you may possibly burn the pigment off of the shoe. So I necessarily do not know what happens afterwards, but let's just say that it is not good. All right, so just by putting the bag over my hand, I see that there is a significant color change, right? But let's get started. So first, I'm actually gonna clean my airbrush. So I'll be right back. I have a 1 ounce jar right here, and it says for every 1 ounce of pigment, you're gonna put 1 ounce of Angelus neutral acrylic leather paint inside of it. So since this is the black, red, purple, what I am gonna be doing is putting them on these 3 surfaces. Now I have a metallic plastic, which is essentially the same thing, like a metal, but this just has a plastic finish on top of it, only because this is good for like sublimation and painting on top of this as well. This is like a canvas material, so the same thing that you'll find on a pair of Vans, as well as a pair of Converses or a t-shirt. This is a cotton blend, so this is something to be mindful of. I will explain to you in a little bit more in depth as to what to do with this one and why you should do the things that I'm going to explain on it. Then you have this piece of white leather. So this is cured painted leather. It's something that you want to use Angelus Leather Prepare and Deglazer, or if you're working on like an Air Force One or any type of leather sneaker, those sneakers have finishers on top of them. So again, like I said, you want to use that Angelus Leather Prepare and Deglazer, so that way you can take that finish off and then you can start working on the shoe. If you do that, chances are it has nothing to adhere to, the paint that is. So that's something that you want to keep in mind when working on a shoe. All right, so I'm gonna put this much in. I'm gonna take a little bit out, right? That I considered is about 1 gram. All right. Sorry guys, not a drug dealer. I don't know what 1 gram looks like, but, or a drug user for that matter. Not anymore, Mom. Okay, so I'm gonna put in at least about a good amount. So I'm gonna go half of it on there. I'm gonna take this. You see, I should have put that down first because now I have to clean the surface area again. But now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay my rag out so that way you guys can see what I'm gonna be doing. So I'm gonna put this on one end, this on the other. It's always gonna be the same thing. All right, I got this there, and then I have that there. I'm gonna use my paintbrush to mix this up. And in this moment in time, I am going to tell you guys about, I'm gonna give you guys the whole spiel like every other video. If you wanna skip forward, go do so. I enjoy being skipped over. So now, in this series, I'm just gonna talk to you now. In this series of experimenting with Kenny, I'm gonna be experimenting a whole bunch of products that are not essentially new to me, but new to you. If in the event that you're looking for stuff like this. So this is a color shifting or color changing pigment, right? So you have to mix it with the neutral acrylic leather paint so that way you can get the desired effect. So this is a nice like black color. I like this, right? And at the end of every episode, I will show you guys what this looks like. And at the end of the entire series, I'm going to use all of these colors on one shoe. So I have this is actually the last episode in the triple thermal dust pigments that I received from solarcolordust.com. So I'm definitely going to be doing a pair of Air Force Ones, or just a shoe of the Air Force One with all of the colors that they came with. So I'm going to be painting every single panel and showing you guys what they do and how they do it once they're on like a leather shoe. And I'm going to go through the process of basically how to put these onto an Air Force One. So this is gonna be, like I said, the last episode of just the experimental phase of what the paint looks like on these three mediums. So the next episode after this is gonna be watch me do it on a pair of shoes. Watch me do it on a pair of shoes, which is gonna be pretty exciting. All right, so let's put the cap on. Let's mix. Once again, thank you guys again for watching this video. Totally appreciate it. If you find this series informative at all, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, as well as stay notified by hitting the notification bell of any videos that we are posting up in the future, like the next one again. So I already cleaned out my airbrush. It is nice and clean. All right, this airbrush is given to us, or we got it via Angelus brand. It is the Grex XGI. Like I always say, this is a powerful machine. I cannot use the word workhorse anymore because I'll probably be banned from using the word horse and or comparing it to a horse, because I'm offending horses somewhere and or somehow. So again, this is going to be my my cotton rag. This is going to be the leather, and this is going to be the metal. So again, you're going to need like an adhesive promoter on this one. For all intents and purposes, I'm just putting this on so that way you can see that it will stay onto this. But at the end of the video, you will see that it will not, without a finisher involved or an adhesive promoter beforehand. So there it is. I don't want to go too much into it in the first shot. So let's just see, it is going on black. There you go. It is going on black. All right, so now that I did my first coat, what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be heating it off from the side so that way you guys can see it nice and auto-focused right now. The color change between the black, the red, and the purple in this color. There you go. Since I only gave it one light coat, there you go. You can see it a lot more in the leather. And off to the side a little bit. Boom, look at that color shift. That's pretty cool. All right. Alrighty. So now let's give it some more paint because I have a little bit left in the well right there. And again, this is just another episode of Experimenting with Kenny. They do have other pigments, and hopefully I will get some more pigments so that I can test out. But as far as the care package that I was sent, this is all that I have, and these are all the videos that I will do for this particular series. All right. So now let's hit it up with the heat. Yes, I really like this ratio. It is very viscous. Oof, look at that. You can see that red. You can see that red right there. That's nice. Look at that purple, red, purple. Very nice. Very nice. This is a very exciting color to work with. Oh, joke. I'm really stoked to see how this is gonna come out. All right, I'm running a little bit low again. Gonna hit it with another. You can see the air that was coming out. The air that was coming out without any paint on it. Got a clog somewhere. One day I'll teach you guys how to fix a clog. But not today, Satan. Not today. Maybe today. Nah, not today. Let's give it a little shot. Shot in the back. All right. Alrighty. Now let's start heating it up again. I'm gonna hit it with 2 more shots of paint. And then look at that color. You can see how it heats up into that nice purple. That's a nice purple. That's a nice purple. On the camera, it looks a little blue. But over here, since I am colorblind, just kidding. Since I am colorblind, I'm not colorblind. It shows up over here in person as that color. All right. I have the actual valve like open all the way because usually it comes with this. But I just wanna pump the brakes out, and now I don't want to pump the brakes out. Sorry, I just want to pump all of the paint out. Really, what this is like a control for this, and this is the amount of spring back that you can bring this back, and the more that you open this, the more paint will come out. So if you start closing this, it'll start to only like reach that level, which will only in turn allow like X amount of air to come through, and you get finer lines. This is just like a shotgun, like that sprays out, you know, as opposed to like a thin line, which is only like a handgun, I would say, if I were using those terms to get you interested in what I'm talking about. There you go. So you see the color shift. One more, and then we're done with this one. And then I can give you my Dungeons and Dragons spiel. There you go. There you have it. There's that purple. It's nice and deep. Or actually, I'm just going to finish what's in the well. All right. And now let's go lefty again. Okay, now you can see that this is a deep black, right? This is a deep black on this on this medium. On this one, not so much, because again, look at this. This is a cloth material. Once you start spreading it open, like stuff like this, you're gonna have to like stretch to get into all of the crevices, right? Now this is fine. This is fine. This is leather, and leather just goes on, and the way that it goes on. So as you can see that heat up, this is what you should be looking at when applying this to the medium that you're doing. Again, I'm doing this left-handed with this one, so it's not great. It's not great, but there's ways that you can bring it back to fix this, like just to even it out. Again, the more coats that you put on it, the better it will look. Especially when using an airbrush. If you use a paintbrush for this, holy good lord, good luck. Good luck to show it off without any streaks. That I should have mentioned in all of the videos. But if that's the biggest takeaway that you take after watching all of the videos, and this one, don't use a paintbrush. Paintbrush is going to be really scary to use, in all honesty. Especially for me. I'll be scared for you if you're not scared at all. I'm scared of leaving streaks. So, there you have it. I have a little bit left. I'm going to put it on. A little bit left. Make sure that it's on sparingly. Make sure that you hit the different angles when you're working with the leather or a shoe or a t-shirt, because everything goes on in different angles. Alright, so that's it. That's it for the amount of paint that I had in the well. It's over, and this is what it's looking like when you heat it all up. Alright, so there you go. Now, for my outro, if you will, I do want to say, if you found this video any bit informational, please hit that like button. Again, we got this from solarcolourdust.com. This is the triple thermal dust, the black, the red to the purple. Want to give a huge shout out to solarcolourdust.com, as well as Angelus and Leather Care Supply. Like, you guys are awesome. Please go check out Solar Color Dust for this. If you're looking for like the neutral paint to use the pigments with, go to Angelus or any place that sells Angelus. So when you're using it on this, like I said before, you're gonna want to use the GAC 900, because what it does is that it thins the paint out, so that way you can have like a pliable material, right? So that way it stretches, it goes into it. Like this, it seeps in, and then it basically adheres to all the fibers that are in here. And since it's an acrylic paint, it will harden, right? This, the GAC 900 will basically just, it's like a paint thinner, right? You could use that or too thin to put onto this type of fabric, right? So that it can stay it can stay malleable, pliable. You know, like you can move it without it getting hard. Now you can do the same thing depending on the type of paint that you're using. Too thin works well as well to basically thin the neutral paint. Angelus makes a pretty thick paint, so you know sometimes it's difficult, like as you can see, to get it through like an airbrush, but you can. Right? So now we get into your metal part, right? Something that you're gonna need an adhesive promoter for. Now the reason why is because this is a non-porous material. So again, if you're working on plastics, metals, or like other types of acrylic, right? So if you're working on something that is a non-porous material, you're gonna need to use a bonding agent, right? So that what that's gonna do is that's gonna stick to, you're gonna have that stick onto the surface. So you're gonna let it stick onto the metal, and then you're gonna, if it's not white, you're gonna need to apply a white color primer to that, and then you're gonna need to apply the color paint that you're gonna, like the mixture of what you're gonna use. Now, the reason why is because since this is a non-porous material, look at what I can do to a porous material, right? Don't fret, it's not coming off because of the color change. It's color changing because of the temperature of my skin, right? So this is something that you have to be mindful of that as well. But you have to take extra consideration in for it, because look, the same way that I scratch this, the paint's not coming off. It's not coming off on my finger. But it's a non-porous material. Look at that. It has nothing to stick onto. So that's the problem that you're going to run into, even when you're working on like Air Maxes, right? Because they have that plastic tab. Any shoe that has a plastic tab, you're going to need to use an adhesive promoter on, because it's never, ever, 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 ever going to stick. And I repeat, never, ever, ever, because it will never, ever, 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 ever stick. All right. So again, like I said, just be mindful of when you're working on these types of materials, because you're going to need to do that. And then when you do that, make sure you use a finisher, right? Angelus has a lot of finishers that you can use. We are testing out other finishers so that way we can showcase them to you, but please use an adhesive promoter and then a finisher for metallic, plastic, or any other type of surfaces that aren't these two. Again, you can use the Bulldog or adhesive promoter on the leather because it will stick better. But if you don't want to, if you want to take that extra step off, you're running the risk of having it crack anyway, because you're not bonding it to anything. Like, you have to use the Angelus leather preparing deglazer to take the factory finish off, and then you can play around with the leather, right? So if you just put it on top of the shoe, like you purchase the shoe, you buy it, then you just put the paint on top of it, right? Without taking the finisher off, chances are it will literally just fly off. Even if you put a finisher on top of it, it's not going to stick that well. You know, it'll only be there for a certain amount of time. Like I've had shoes that I've done that to just to test out, and they don't last at all. So like, I've given the shoes to children when I put the Bulldog promoter on it, the adhesive promoter on it, and they've lasted forever. Like they're still beating that current shoe up, and the paint job hasn't come off that much, even though they're kids. They'll chip it from the outside. It's not chipping from the inside. So be mindful of that. Now, you got the GAC for this. You can use the GAC, the too thin, for this. You're gonna need an adhesive promoter for that. So again, guys, thank you very much for coming out and hanging out with me, your host, on this series of Experimenting with Kenny. I totally appreciate you guys coming and hanging out. So keep crafting, keep having fun, and you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Later.